in the first part, the question is asking us, show using vectors that DE is parallel to BC. पहले DE vector कैसे निकालेंगे? What is the vector DE? Minus A plus B या B minus A लिख लो, कोई मसला नहीं इसको. Okay. Then we have to find the vector BC. How do we intend to find BC? BC will be found by taking BA plus AC. That's perfectly fine. अब जरा गौर से देखना. BA you have to find. And what does the question say? 3:2 का ratio है, right? That means if divides AB in the ratio 3:2. If AD is 3, then DB is 2. Very good. पूरा 5 है. अच्छा, इसी चीज को देखते हुए understand this thing. If you were to write it down, मैं पहले देखता हूँ. पूरा 5 है ना? So you are saying that DA is 3/5 of BA. Take your time, सोचो इस बारे में, मुझे बताओ सही है गलत है, और you are unable to understand it. You have cracked the code के साथ total 5 है और DA जो है ना उसका 3 है. Is that right बच्चे? अब what is the issue? BA is total and DA is a part of it. And I know this part, मुझे ये पता है. इसी equation को 5 यहाँ divide हो रहा है. If I take it on the other side, can I write it as this? Can I do this? कि वो 5/3 है of, अब ये तो मुझे पता है, तो BA की जगह I will write 5/3 of DA, और इसी तरह AC की जगह I will write 5/3 of AE. Yes, you're right, which will eventually be B. So what is BC then? It is 5/3 of negative A plus 5/3 of B. Is that right? Now if you simplify BC, you will get negative 5/3 of A plus 5/3 of B. Is that right? And इसमें अगर minus 5/3 common ले लें तो what are we left with? या 5/3 common ले लें. Is that right बच्चों? And what is that? Minus A plus B क्या था? That was the vector DE. So once we prove that two vectors are just scalar multiples of each other, we can say that BC is parallel to DE. Makes sense? Understood? Now what does the second part say? This was a 3-mark question, so all the work that you have done totally makes sense. Find the ratio area of triangle ADE, area of triangle ABC. ADE and ABC, they are similar figures. Is that right? And we have just proven what is the ratio of these similar figures. If this is 3, then the big one is 5. Is that right? And if I were to find the area of these two, small ratio large कह रहा है ना वो, तो इनकी length के ratio से मैं निकाल सकता हूँ कि using similar figures. Is that right? So the ratio of the lengths is 3:5. Be careful कि किसका ratio हम ले रहे हैं. And the ratios of the area is 9:25. Is this clear? Let's have a look at another one of these questions from paper 2. The question is given as a column vector AB, and what have they asked us for? The magnitude of AB. How do we calculate the magnitude? Remember, this paper 2 calculators are allowed. -3 का square plus 5 का square. Can you tell me the magnitude? Yes, that is 5.83 units. I do not know. I am trusting you with the values. AC is 6.2 and C is the point 10 minus 1. Can I write this coordinate? इसको मैं vectors में कैसे involve करूँगा 10 minus 1 को? And what will that vector be called? Column vector पे सारे ही हैं. What is that particular vector called? If you want to use these coordinates as vectors, position vector of C, and I can write it as OC. Is that right? Origin से अगर मैं C जा रहा हूँ तो वही उसके coordinates होंगे, but they can be written as column vectors, which is 10 and -1. But what did I need to find? मुझे ढूंढना क्या है? Again, if I want to use it as a vector, तो मुझे क्या ढूंढना है? Coordinates of A. Coordinates of A. If I want to write it as a vector, तो क्या होगा? मुझे ढूंढना है ये. 6,2 is not OA. I need to find OA. मुझे ये ढूंढना है पहले तो understand this thing. मुझे OA ढूंढना है. Okay, then how do I do that? OC plus नहीं, O से मैं C आया हूँ. I need to CA. Coordinates of A का मतलब position vector of A. OC I already know, that is 10 minus 1 plus what about CA? -6 and -2. Negative vector हो जाएगा AC का. So what is the position vector of A? 10 minus 6 is 4. Remember, the question did not ask you the position vector. You have to write it as a coordinate, which is 4, and every vector cannot be written as a coordinate. Be very clear about it. Coordinate और vectors का जब भी interchange होगा तो that will always be a position vector. AC को 6,2 नहीं लिख सकते हम. A से C की movement हमें बता रहा है. Is this clear? Okay, then in the next part they have asked us this. B is the midpoint of AD. Find the coordinates of the point D. The question, remember, do not forget that the question already told us AB. AB was -3 and 5. AB was already given, which is -3 and 5. If you just draw a little sketch, एक line बनाओ, AD की line बनाओ और B उसके बिल्कुल बीच में लिख दो. So what will you understand that AD, by looking at your line, AD लिखो, बीच में point B लगाओ, is 2 times AB. Can I do that? देखो जरा और से. Is that right? हाँ? I already know AB. इसको 2 से multiply कर लेते हैं. -3 and 5. You get it as -6 and Why -2? This is AD. The question is not asking you AD. What is the question asking you? Coordinates of D, तो वेक्टर में क्या हो जाएगा वो? OD, position vector at coordinates. Vector is बाद में position vector at coordinate geometry में. So I need to find OD. How do I go from O to D? OA plus AD. Figure out OD for me. You already know OA, which is 4 minus 3 plus AD. So what is OD? OA is 4 minus 3 plus AD is this. Four minus 6 is -2. Remember the question asked you the coordinates, so write it as coordinates. Is this right? अगर पोजीशन वेक्टर पूछता तो हम उसी तरह से आंसर दे देते. Now let's have a look at part B. I urge you to draw these figures ताकि जो भी इसमें changes ratio वगैरह है हम उसको देख सकें. The diagram shows triangle OPQ. OP is P and पूरा OQ is Q. Common confusion is यहाँ dot लगा होता है, बच्चे OR को Q समझ लेते हैं. So kindly read the question for such clarifications. R is the point on such that OR is double of RQ. See, the question is mentioned in the relation. OR is double of RQ. So this is as simply as possible vector PQ. कैसे जाएंगे P से Q? We have done so many such questions. Very good. You can do it directly now as well. That will be minus P plus. फिगर बना लिए, फिगर बना लो ताकि उस पर जो भी चेंजेस वगैरह रेशियोज है you need to use, you can easily do that. Now the next part is asking us OS. O से अगर S जाना है तो OS is OP. Okay, OP plus PS. Okay, so you already know OP. वो तो पता है हमें, तो लिख देंगे. What about PS? Very good. It is half of. Be very careful with the direction. Is it half of PQ? Arrows और direction के साथ बताओ. PS is half of PQ. I'll show you. See. PS, you want to link this vector, right? So you will say PS और इसी direction में ही PQ बनता है. So PS will be half of PQ. ठीक है? So OP तो मुझे पता है. What was OP? And half of PQ I already know it is minus P plus Q. Now can you simplify? P minus half P plus half Q. So what are you left with? Half P. Okay, good. Again, ये वाली चीजें भी you will be able to do them in a much shorter way once you practice enough. अभी शुरू में I don't mind you taking all these long routes because it's not that time consuming, is it? इस बात को जरा समझना. Then if I want you to find SR, okay, so one way is SQ और QR से भी जा सकते हो. SR is SQ and QR. एक तो ये तरीका है. Any other way? Again, it's better कि कोई पिछला वेक्टर आप यूज कर ले तो उससे टाइम आपका बच जाता है. Obviously, SQ and QR is absolutely right. SO तो ऑलरेडी निकाला हुआ है ना. और से देखो, you've just found. तो that is an easier way. SQ आपको फिर निकालना पड़ेगा. Yes, this will give you an answer. Don't worry. मैं ये अगर if you want तो ये भी कर दिखवा दूंगा मैं कि आंसर आ सकता है इससे. Okay, so what was the easier one जो हमने निकाला हुआ है? OS है तो SO plus OR. Is that right? Okay, so SO क्या हो जाएगा? जो OS था उसका नेगेटिव हो जाएगा, -12P -12Q प्लस OR क्या होगा? गौर से देखकर. The question told you that OR is double of RQ. Do you know any of these individual parts or do you know the total thing? You know the total thing is Q, तो फिर total से ratio बनाना is much more beneficial for us, right? So OR total का कितना होगा? 2/3. If this is 1, RQ अगर 1 है, whatever the length is, consider it as 1. So OR double है, 2 है. So total, if there are 3, so OR तो 2 है, 2 out of 3 of OQ. OQ is Q. So उसकी जगह I can write 2/3 of Q. Can you simplify? LCM ले लो, ये तो -12P आएगा. LCM 3 आया, -3, 6 आया, -3 plus 4, 1/3. You can use your calculators. 2/3 -12 भी कर सकते हो. This is paper 2. But LCM लेके कर लो, उससे थोड़े से brain cells will work and you can understand that. Be very half क्यों, कैसे? LCM लो. 6 LCM आएगा इसका. So -3 and then +4, that is +1. So 1 -12P. Be very careful with this minus. You often tend to overlook this minus even in your own working. इसलिए teachers recommend you not to write the negative value in the starting. आप खुद confuse हो जाते हैं. तो if you're writing it, be very careful with the sign. Okay, now if anyone wanted to go, अगर for example you've tried, decided के पेपर में मैं इस तरह से रास्ता जा रहा हूं, सही है ना? तो अंडरस्टैंड अब हम कैसे करेंगे इसको. SQ के लिए हम क्या करेंगे फर्स्ट? व्हाट अबाउट SQ? इज हाफ ऑफ. वेरी गुड. यू कैन से SQ की जगह you can write it as half of PQ. What about QR? 1/3 of 1/3 of. Yes, Q से R जा रहे हैं. That is 1/3 of Q, right? Makes sense? Direction is the only thing that you need to worry about in these questions. Okay, let's see half of PQ. Okay, एक चीज मैं और बताऊं, half of PQ आपने ऑलरेडी यहाँ निकाला हुआ है. So you use this as half of PQ. या ये यूज कर लो डायरेक्ट half of PQ. पीछे अगर काम आपने आसान किया हुआ है तो. And then 1/3 of QO. What do I write in place of QO? No, QO is not Q. It is -Q. Is that right? Okay, so now simplify. Minus half T plus half Q minus 1/3. वन सिक्स होगा, सॉरी है मैंने गलत लिखा, सॉरी, ये भी 1/6 होगा, माय बैड, काइंडली मेक दिस करेक्शन। बोल रहा हूँ 6 एलसीएम लिख दीजिए प्लीज, बता दो कुछ सेम आंसर है ना। तो अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग के you can go through any ways, but the vectors that you've already found use them, और वो फिर correct होने जरूरी है। So kindly be careful about this, तभी आसान होती है, वरना it makes things very difficult for us.